Good morning, everybody. This is Suzette Vearnon, your sister, your friend, your relationship solutionist, with another post episode commentary. As you know, every Monday around this time, I talk about how something that was shared during my podcast impacted me. So it's my aha moment, or as I call it, things that make me go, right? And so it gives me great pleasure to join you all every Monday morning. For those of you who are new, I just want to let you know that every Sunday morning at around 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I post a new podcast episode. And on yesterday, I was favored to interview none other than Altovise Pelzer. And so, oh my God, it was so wonderful. So many nuggets that it was kind of hard to figure out just that one thing that made me go, that I wanted to talk about with you today. But I did narrow it down. So as you join, please make sure to share it out with other people. If you listen to the replay, share that out as well. I welcome your comments, your feedback. But most of all, I hope that it will cause you to think, and it will cause you to reflect, and that it will also cause you to go on over to my Enough Factor podcast and listen to the full episode. Because even though I'm giving the commentary, honey, let me tell you, no one can bring it like Altovise herself. And you owe it to yourself to hear the full episode. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about, or the thing that made me go, was something that she said in the midst of our interview. She said the first time I had to say no was to me saying no to having a pity party. Now, preceding that, she talked about how she didn't have to say no to a person. You know, a lot of times we say, you have to be able to give a gracious no, or learn to say no, or no is a complete sentence. But a lot of times we think our no is, to prohibit us from doing something we shouldn't do, or we're saying no to a person, right? We're saying no to someone else. But she said, I didn't say no to a person. The first time I had to say no was to say no to me having a pity party. And so as I thought about that, I said to myself, well, who was saying no? And I thought about that, and I said, what coexists within us, or at least within me, is two different personalities, two different people. Sometimes you see cartoons and there's an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. Well, I think that the angel on this shoulder is your authentic self. It is your inner knowing, your wise guide, the divine source, okay? And I think on this side is your ego, that part of you that is there because of pain, because you were socialized, what somebody told you, what you experienced, and maybe you put a spin or a story to it, right? So you got these two different personalities, if you will, sitting on your shoulder, speaking into your ears, right? And so I thought about that, and I thought about, I don't know exactly who said it, but someone said there is an observer. And that observer is your being. It's who you really are. It's you underneath all the angst, the pain, the lids. And I've coined the acronym LIDS, meaning limitations, right? Ideologies, disconnects, and stories that are suppressing who you truly, truly are, and the powerful being that you truly, truly are, the enoughness inside of you that is inherently there because you exist. And you were in someone's mind, some conscious thought, some higher thought, some higher consciousness determined you to be here, right? And so that alone makes you enough. But of course, we have to go through all these different things because of having lived in this world and having been programmed a certain way that wasn't necessarily right, but we internalized a whole lot of messages that were given to us, but that aren't really us. And so Altovise recognized that the pity party was not who she truly was, right? Hi, Debbie. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Nana. But she realized that the pity party was not her. She realized that there was something else. There was a bigger part of her. There was an enough part of her. There was an authentic part of her. There was a wise or divine part of her that challenged the pity party. So what she said really resonated with me, because a lot of times we think that how we feel is who we really are. We have convinced ourselves that our story is who we really are, that our limitation is who we really are. You know, that the ideologies that have been passed down from generation to generation is who we really are. And that there is a disconnect between what we say and what we do, or what we say we want and what we actually behave as if we don't want. And so I sat back and I was like, as I reflected on that, I was like, you know what? Instead of saying, no, I can't have that, or no, just this far and no further, then I need to kind of take the other position of the observer, the wiser part, the divine part, the part that does not judge or censor or impose any kind of meaning to anything in a negative way, but is more curious, that's more observant, and say, that's odd, or that's weird, or And so I love that she said that the no that she said was no to having a pity party. And so to leave you with something even more that I took away from this is saying yes to life, saying no to death. Because that pity party was a death to her. It drained her of her choice. It drained her of her enoughness. It drained her of her freedom. So that's what we are supposed to say no to. Not necessarily to a person, place, or thing, but no to what's inside of us trying to prevent our yes. Saying no to whatever pain story, whatever limitation, whatever is inside of us that's holding us back from our yes, because there is indeed a yes out there. There's indeed a yes out there. And as you see on the floor, let me see which finger, this finger. No, this finger. As you see on the floor, the sound of my life is showing. I just noticed that. It's showing because one of the things that Altovise was talking about was being silent no more. That there was a secret that she was carrying around that was contributing to her pity party, that was contributing to her life not being what it was that she wanted it to be, that she envisioned for herself. Hi, Bet. And I remember when I lost the sound of my own voice. And when I lost the sound of it, I was convinced that it was wrong, that the voice that I was hearing was wrong. And in that particular instance, it was directly related to my spiritual connection, because I felt like I heard God say something. Hi, Beth. Hey, sweetie. I felt like I had heard God, my wise self, my higher consciousness. I thought I had heard him say something to me. And when I came out and shared it, I was told by an authority in my life that he wouldn't have said that. And from that moment, I doubted my voice. And in that moment, I lost my ability to really respect and regard or hear the sound of my voice. I couldn't figure it out. From all the background noise, from all the other voices, from all the oughts and shoulds, I couldn't figure it out. So I stayed in a feeling kind of state because I could kind of tell you how I felt. I felt angry. I felt some kind of way. But and I could talk. I was a talker now. But there's a difference between talking and your voice. Talking is words, the ability to talk. We all have that as human beings. We have the ability to talk, to just talk, share words. Even babies, you say daddy and mama to a baby long enough, or bye-bye. Like my grand twins will say bye-bye. They were saying bye-bye before they even understood what bye-bye meant. All they knew was saying bye-bye, they got a reaction. And so talking just gets us a reaction. But voice is, you understand, it is a representative or an extension of your being communicated. That's what voice is. It's an extension. Hi, Carl. It's an extension of your being, an extension of your consciousness. If your soul were to speak in a way that people could understand, that's your voice, right? It is an extension of you. And I lost that. And I started needing people to affirm me and to validate me. And if they didn't like it, if they objected, if they challenged it, oh man, I would defend it. Yes, I would. That talk, I would defend it. I would defend it. I would defend it. I could talk now. I would defend it. But when I would get by myself, I would second guess myself to the point that I became less and less powerful. And after a while, I lost my voice. And I just kept losing it. And I kept losing it. And I kept losing it. And I had to put some distance between myself and situations, certain situations that perpetuated the loss of my voice. I had to put distance. Wasn't anything wrong with the people, wasn't anything wrong with the situation, because other people enjoyed it. You know, other people enjoyed it and were enriched by it. But for me, the sound of other people's voices in my head was so much until I could not hold on to my own voice. I couldn't hold on to my real truth. I couldn't hold on to it. And so I had to put distance there so that I could hear the sound of my own voice and to stay with it until I had enough strength in it that it didn't matter what anybody else said, that I could stay true to it without having to make them feel bad. I could stay true to it without having to do anything to them, without having to push them, that I could stay true to it. And it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. But that is the intention, I think, of Silent No More. It's not saying silent no more to just your ability to talk, share ideas, say your opinion, say no, say bye-bye, like my grand twins. But it's silent no more to your voice. And the only way you can be silent no more to your voice is you have to have regard for your voice. That doesn't come from anybody else. A lot of us want other people to understand us. A lot of us want other people to get us, but they just can't. A person who is not you cannot get the totality sometimes of your message. And then sometimes the people that can get you, they're not getting the authentic you. They're aligning with the ego you. And it can make you feel like that's where you're supposed to be because they align with the ego you. But it takes deliberate, conscious intention to get other voices out of your head, other talking out of your head, even what your mama said, what your daddy said, what your uncle said, what the kid in middle school said. Get those voices out of your head and really find out what it is your soul really wants to communicate, what it really wants to say. And just because the person that you might talk to about it may not have regard for it does not change the validity of what your soul wants to say. Your soul speak, your voice. Someone said something in a previous episode, and I had a bing bing moment. I said, oh, you don't need to change your message. You just need to change your tribe. And for many of us, because we have not learned to regard our voice, we think there's something wrong with it. When really, all that needs to change is the people that you're around. Because the right people will recognize your voice. It'll resonate with them. So the challenge for us today is not to seek people, or let me change that. It's to take inventory of whether the people around you are just people that support your talking, which is ego-driven, which is pain-driven, which is paranoid, which is all those negative death type things. Or are the people around you supporting your voice, your soul speak? Okay, so let's take inventory of who's around us, and let's take inventory of who we're listening to, who we're really listening to. Is it our ego or is it our voice? And I'll tell you, your voice matters. It matters to who you were sent here to impact. It matters. It matters that you speak it, that you regard it, that you love it enough to speak it unapologetically. It matters. So I got to go, but I encourage you all to listen to my podcast. It's really good. It's really good. It's another way that my voice can be heard, and the voice of others whose voice has impacted me. I invite you to check out Altovise. The links are in my episode details. So if you go on over and click on it and look at all the, the notes and everything, there are links that will allow you to connect with any of the guest speakers that I've had. And if you yourself feel like you have something to say, that you want a platform for your voice, and it resonates with my whole mission of the podcast and my whole mission for being here with you today, which is to help you to redefine what makes you enough in life and in love on your own terms, so you can experience life and love in a brand new way. If you feel like you have something to share that can amplify our listeners' voice, our listeners' value, or our listeners' vision, then just send me a direct message. And let's make it happen. Let's impact some lives. Let's leave the world better than it was before we came. Okay? I love you. And in case nobody's told you, you are worthy. You are worth it. You are enough. Bye.